Have you ever wondered why some older men walk into a room and instantly feel respected, while others, even rich, experienced, and well-dressed, quietly get dismissed by younger women? Let me ask you something uncomfortable. If experience, maturity, and stability are supposed to be attractive, why do so many older men still struggle to hold the interest of younger women? Today, I'm going to reveal the 7 hidden habits older men develop without realizing it, and how those habits silently kill attraction in younger women. Not because younger women are shallow, not because age gaps never work, but because attraction follows emotional and psychological rules. And once you understand these rules, you stop guessing. You stop performing. You stop trying to impress. You start becoming naturally magnetic. Stay with me until the end. Because the final habit is the one almost every older man believes is his greatest strength, when in reality, it is the fastest way to lose desire. First, a hard truth about younger women and older men. Younger women are not attracted to age. They are attracted to emotional positioning. Age only becomes attractive when it represents emotional leadership, grounded presence, confidence without need, stability without control. But the moment age turns into authority, entitlement, or emotional heaviness, desire collapses. And now, let's break down the 7 habits that quietly destroy attraction. Habit 1. Explaining too much instead of letting presence speak. Older men often confuse wisdom with explanation. They correct, they clarify, they justify, they narrate their thinking. They over-explain their choices, not because they are arrogant, but because they believe, if she understands me, she will respect me. Here is what younger women actually feel. Not curiosity, not admiration. They feel emotional pressure. When you explain your decisions, your feelings, your values, and your intentions too deeply, you remove mystery. You turn your emotional world into a lecture. Attraction does not grow through explanation. It grows through emotional contrast. Silence, pause, unspoken confidence, calm decision-making without emotional narration. The more you feel the need to explain your maturity, the less maturity she experiences. Real emotional authority does not seek validation. It simply acts. Habit 2. Using life experience as a weapon instead of a background. Older men often say things like, "You'll understand when you're older. I've been through much worse than you. Trust me, I know how this ends." And again, this is not meant to be cruel. It is meant to protect. But psychologically, it does something dangerous. It creates a parent-child emotional dynamic, not a man-woman dynamic. Younger women do not want to feel managed. They want to feel emotionally equal, even when you are more experienced. When you constantly remind her that you have more life experience, you unconsciously push her into a lower emotional position, and attraction never grows downward. Desire requires mutual emotional autonomy. Your experience should be invisible. It should be felt through your calm reactions, your patience, your emotional restraint, your grounded decisions, not through your reminders. Habit 3. Trying to be too safe too early. This is one of the most misunderstood mistakes older men make. They try to create comfort immediately. They remove uncertainty. They remove tension. They remove emotional risk. They become always available, always reassuring, always predictable, always emotionally open. And again, this sounds healthy, but here is the psychological problem. Attraction is built in emotional movement, not emotional certainty. When you become emotionally safe before emotional curiosity forms, you skip the entire desire phase. Younger women do not fall for stability. They fall for emotional presence that slowly reveals stability. Safety is powerful, but safety without emotional polarity becomes flat. You do not create desire by proving you are harmless. You create desire by being emotionally self-contained. Habit 4. Trying to impress with resources instead of emotional depth. Older men are often taught one dangerous rule. Just show her you can provide. So they highlight their car, their apartment, their business, their network, their lifestyle. But younger women today are not emotionally moved by provision. They are emotionally moved by how you respond to discomfort, how you carry silence, how you handle frustration, how you stay centered under pressure. Resources create security. They do not create desire. And when a man repeatedly signals his financial or professional value, it subtly communicates something else. It says, My value must be demonstrated. True internal value is not marketed, it is perceived. And younger women are extremely sensitive to emotional authenticity. Habit 5. Becoming emotionally heavy too quickly. This habit destroys attraction quietly. Older men often open up very fast. They share past betrayals, failed relationships, business losses, family pain, emotional wounds. Again, not weakness, human honesty, but timing matters. Emotional depth is attractive. Emotional unloading is not. When emotional vulnerability appears before emotional trust is built, it creates emotional responsibility in the other person. Younger women do not want to carry emotional weight early. They want to feel emotional expansion, not emotional duty. Your pain does not need to be hidden, but it must be processed before it is shared. Emotional stability is more seductive than emotional transparency. Habit 6. Needing admiration instead of holding quiet confidence. Many older men secretly hunger for validation from younger women, not openly, but internally. They want to feel desired again, chosen again, powerful again, relevant again, so they search for signs. They read messages too deeply. They look for reassurance. They adjust their tone. They soften their boundaries. Here's what younger women feel when a man subtly seeks approval. They feel emotional pressure. Neediness does not look like insecurity. It looks like emotional adjustment. A man who constantly calibrates himself to be liked loses emotional gravity. Attraction flows toward emotional independence, not emotional hunger. Habit 7. Confusing leadership with control. This is the most damaging habit. Older men often believe leadership means guiding decisions, directing plans, correcting behavior, shaping outcomes. But leadership in attraction is not management. It is emotional anchoring. A younger woman does not want you to run her life. She wants you to remain emotionally steady while she navigates hers. Control kills polarity. It creates emotional resistance. The more you try to organize her choices, her schedule, her priorities, her decisions, the less emotionally free she feels around you. And emotional freedom is a core attraction trigger. You do not lead by steering. You lead by stabilizing the emotional space. Now let me show you what actually attracts younger women to older men. Not habits, not techniques, not lines, not strategies. Presence. The older man who becomes irresistible to younger women does one thing differently. He does not perform maturity. He embodies emotional independence. He does not chase clarity, does not rush intimacy, does not manage emotions, does not seek reassurance, does not force connection. He creates a calm emotional field, and in that field, people soften, people open, people feel grounded. And grounded emotions are extremely attractive. The real reason younger women lose interest in older men, it is not age, it is emotional posture. Many older men unconsciously carry emotional fatigue. They approach connection as something fragile, something to protect, something that might disappear. Younger women feel this instantly. They feel hesitation, emotional caution, fear of loss, attachment pressure, and attraction does not survive emotional fear. Desire grows where emotional self-sufficiency exists. Let me ask you something personal. When you meet a younger woman, do you show her how calm you are? Or do you show her how careful you are? Those are not the same. Calm says, I am okay whether this works or not. Careful says, I need this to go well. Only one of those creates attraction. Why emotional self-containment changes everything. Emotional self-containment means you enjoy connection, but you are not fed by it. You value intimacy, but you are not built on it. You appreciate attention, but you do not depend on it. This internal structure is rare, and rarity is magnetic. Younger women are surrounded by emotional chaos. Reactive men, emotionally unstable men, attention-seeking men, validation-hungry men. When an older man remains emotionally centered, he becomes contrast, not competition. Contrast always wins. A quiet mindset shift that changes how women experience you. Stop asking, how do I attract her? Start asking, what emotional atmosphere do I create when I enter a space? Because the truth is uncomfortable. Attraction doesn't begin with your words. It doesn't begin with your looks. It doesn't even begin with your confidence. It begins with how people feel in your presence. When you walk into a room, what shifts? Do shoulders drop slightly? Do voices soften? Does the energy feel grounded? Steady, safe? Or does something tighten? Do people feel subtly judged? Measured? Corrected? Managed? Here's what most men don't understand. When you're focused on impressing, your nervous system is performing. When you're focused on winning, your energy becomes evaluative. When you're focused on proving, the room feels that pressure, and pressure kills attraction, because attraction is not a trophy. It's an emotional climate. Think about the last time you felt drawn to someone. It wasn't because they tried hard. It was because around them you felt different. More relaxed, more open, less self-conscious. That's power. A grounded man slows down the emotional tempo of a room. He doesn't rush to fill silence. He doesn't over-explain himself. He doesn't subtly signal, "Do you approve of me?" He is there, and that presence changes the air. When you stop trying to control how you're perceived, something interesting happens. People stop feeling controlled. Instead of managing the conversation, you allow it. Instead of correcting her, you understand her. Instead of guiding every emotional beat, you let it breathe. And suddenly, she relaxes. Her laughter becomes natural. Her guard lowers. Her words become softer, more real. Not because you performed well, but because you created a space where she didn't feel evaluated. Most men walk into interactions trying to extract something: attention, validation, desire, approval. But high-level attraction works differently. You don't extract. You regulate. You become the calm center in the room. The nervous system that doesn't spike. The energy that doesn't demand. And people lean toward that. Because in a world full of anxious performers and loud personalities, calm presence feels rare. It feels safe. It feels magnetic. It feels powerful. So the next time you step into a room, don't ask yourself how to be more attractive. Ask yourself, am I bringing tension? Or am I dissolving it? Am I performing? Or am I present? Because attraction is not something you chase. It's something people experience when your presence feels like peace. Let's correct the biggest myth about age gap attraction. The myth is this: younger women want older men because of status. No, they respond to emotional leadership. Emotional leadership is not dominance. It is emotional regulation. It is how you pause before reacting, how you handle awkward silence, how you respond when plans change, how you stay composed when things go wrong. This is what creates safety without boredom, stability without control, confidence without pressure. If you recognize yourself in these habits, good. That means you're awake. This is not about shame. It's not about beating yourself up for the ways you tried too hard, texted too much, explained too long, or gave more than was asked. It's about awareness, and awareness is power. Because the moment you see the pattern, you are no longer controlled by it. The moment you stop doing these 7 habits, you stop leaking emotional need. And most men don't even realize they're leaking it. It shows up in the double text that says, "Please reassure me," in the long explanation that says, "Please understand me," in the constant availability that says, "Please choose me." You think you're being caring. You think you're being consistent. But underneath there's a quiet signal. I need this to go well. And need shifts the emotional dynamic instantly. When you stop these habits, you stop communicating hidden insecurity. You no longer rush to fill silence. You no longer overcompliment to secure approval. You no longer mold your opinions just to maintain harmony. You become emotionally self-contained. That's when something subtle changes. The energy flips. Instead of asking, "Does she like me?" the question becomes, "Do our energies align?" Instead of chasing connection, you observe it. Instead of forcing chemistry, you allow it. And this is where emotional polarity comes back. When a man is overeager, overly available, overly accommodating, the dynamic flattens. There's no tension, no mystery, no space. Polarity collapses. But when a man is grounded, centered in his own rhythm, his own pace, his own standards, there is contrast. There is space. And space creates attraction. Because attraction needs room to breathe. You stop trying to be impressive. You stop curating every sentence. You stop calculating every move. You stop performing a version of yourself you think will win. And ironically, that's when you become interesting. Grounded men don't try to dominate the room. They don't try to be funniest, the smartest, the most mysterious. They are simply there. Their presence feels stable. Their reactions are measured. Their energy doesn't spike with every emotional fluctuation, and that stability is rare. In a world full of emotional volatility and validation-seeking behavior, grounded energy stands out quietly. It feels safe. It feels strong. It feels masculine in the deepest sense, not loud, not aggressive, but centered. And women feel that difference immediately. Not because you said the perfect line, not because you used the right technique, but because your nervous system stopped asking for something. You're not trying to extract attention. You're not trying to secure certainty. You're not trying to prove worth. You're simply choosing to stand in it. And grounded men are extremely attractive, not because they chase, but because they don't need to. Not because they impress, but because they don't perform. They create emotional safety without submission, strength without force, presence without pressure. So if you saw yourself in those habits, don't feel embarrassed. Feel empowered, because awareness is the turning point. And the moment you stop leaking need is the moment people start leaning in. The final reminder most men never hear. You do not become attractive to younger women by becoming more impressive. You become attractive by becoming emotionally complete, not emotionally closed. Emotionally complete. You do not need her attention to regulate your mood. You do not need her interest to confirm your value. You do not need her approval to stabilize your identity. That emotional independence is felt. It is not spoken, and it creates desire far deeper than looks, money, or age ever could. If this video helped you understand what actually kills attraction and what silently builds it instead, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay with me for more honest female psychology and emotional dynamics that actually improve your relationships. And remember this one line as you move forward. Younger women are not rejecting your age. They are responding to your emotional posture. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.